What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harley. This is the Six Pack Bass YouTube channel. If you're new here, go ahead and do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. That just will allow you to join the Six Pack Bass community. I come out with XFL content weekly. This week we're going to be talking about my XFL Week 4 predictions. That's right, we're already on to week 4. Pretty crazy. We are almost at the midway point. A lot has happened in just a short period of time. For those of you who don't know, I used to cover the Alliance of American Football League. Comparing the two leagues, I feel like this league is already off to a much better start. Let's hope that this success continues because I want this league to stick around. I enjoy being able to comment with you guys back and forth and dig in and discuss this league. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments, as well as thank you for your time.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Let's jump right into it. So last week I went 3-1. My lone loss, if you guys didn't already see in my previous video,
In the arms of...
Got him.
so my lone loss was the blowout that LA put on DC. Unexpected, out of nowhere, went 3-1. Could not bring out the trusty broom and get that sweep.
Get out of here.
All right, guys, let me go ahead and pop up the current standings for week 4. In the East, we have a new top team. The St. Louis Battlehawks are in first. They're technically tied with DC Defenders, but the way that this works, the touchdown differential is the tiebreaker. So they are at a +4. DC is at a -1. Moving on to the West, Houston Roughnecks, still the only perfect team, sitting at 3-0 atop the West. Dallas Renegades at 2-1. And then you have the LA Wildcats and Seattle Dragons tied for 3rd. All right, so after week 3, you guys asked for my power rankings, so here they are. We have the Houston Roughnecks coming in at number 1. Number 2, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Number 3, the Dallas Renegades. DC Defenders, after that blowout, fall to number 4. LA Wildcats jump up to number 5. The Vipers move up to 6th place, Seattle Dragons in 7th, and my biggest mover in the wrong direction, the New York Guardians, rounding out number 8. And I know some of you are going to ask me, how can you put a winless Vipers team above 2 teams with a win? Well, I believe the Vipers, and I've touched on this multiple times in the video, they are going to get a win eventually. I know that they are. Their offense, this is a power ranking, so it's not necessarily based off a win-loss record. I feel that on paper, stat-wise, Tampa Bay has a much better offense than the New York Guardians or the Seattle Dragons, and they play defense well enough. That's how they end up in the 6th spot. All right, guys, a lot to cover. So before I jump into this week's pick, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me, join the Six Pack Bass community, as well as turn that bell notification on. What that does is it will send out a notification to you anytime I come out with a new piece of content. You guys know the drill. I come out with 2 pieces of content each week for this league, as well as if you like what you see so far, go ahead, smash that like button for me, as well as jump down in that comment section. I want to hear from you guys. What are your predictions for this week? Let's jump into game 1. Game number 1, we have the 1-2 LA Wildcats taking on the 1-2 New York Guardians, Saturday, February 29th at 1 p.m. Central over on ABC. Guys, so lot in this one. LA travels all the way from the West Coast over to the East Coast. This is a huge game for both of these teams. I know it's hard to wrap your head around right now, but this definitely has playoff implications.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Especially in a 10-game season. You can't drop 3, especially can't drop 4. 6-4 is probably not going to be good enough to get you to the playoffs. It might be, but this one is pivotal for both of these teams. They're trending in opposite directions. LA is coming off their only win, but a huge dismantling of the DC Defenders.
Today, Junior.
Guardians are coming off a horrible loss at the hands of St. Louis, so both of these teams headed in different directions. I'm curious to see how LA will handle that road trip. Like I said, they're going all the way from the West Coast, playing in the East Coast. A lot of time zones that they will pass between there. Will they have a hangover? We saw DC coming from the East Coast over to the West Coast, came out a little flat and got sucker punched in the mouth. Who will start at quarterback for New York? I know there's been a lot of rumors. Will they still roll McGloin? Will it be Marquise Williams? Will it be Luis Perez? I have a feeling that Luis Perez will play the majority of this game. He looked good in that short bit last week against St. Louis. And I think, like I said, how big of a game this is, they're going to have to roll the dice. And I think that they do it this week. I don't think McGloin starts. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Home field advantage, new quarterback. I still have LA coming out on top 24-12. Moving on to game 2, we have the 1-2 Seattle Dragons taking on the 2-1 St. Louis Battlehawks. This game's going to be Saturday, February 29th, 4 p.m. and Fox has the coverage on this one. Some of the keys in this one, guys. Seattle gave up 5 yards a carry last week against Dallas. We know St. Louis is a run-heavy team. They do it better than pretty much anybody else in the league. 5 yards a carry is not going to get it done on the road in a house that's going to be rocking against a really good St. Louis team. So they're going to have to find a way to stop the run on defense. Will we see Brandon Silvers or BJ Daniels? You know, Silvers came out and was decent in week 1, and the past 2 weeks he's really regressed and slid down. Who knows? We might have a BJ Daniels sighting in this one. Jim Zorn needs to be more aggressive. If we look at the standings in the West is a lot tougher division, in my opinion, just looking at the stats, than the East. And if they lose this game, they drop to 1-3. I've got LA winning. That moves LA up to 2-2. They would be the only 3-loss team in the West. You don't want to start sliding and slipping because the West is tight. You're sitting there with Houston with an undefeated record. So if that continues, you're really playing for one position for the playoffs. So who knows? Zorn needs to pull out all the rabbits. They have to be aggressive in this game. Home field advantage is going to be a major factor. I said it last week. St. Louis packs the house, and it's going to be rocking again. You know, those St. Louis fans, they love their Battlehawks. I had some of you jump down in the comment section and already give me the caw in the comments. So I know you guys are out there. I know that you tune in. Tiamu will lead the way. He only has 2 interceptions on the year, so I've been very impressed. You know, he didn't score a touchdown last week, but he has played very clean in each of these games. He takes care of the ball, does all the right things. And it's going to be tough for Seattle if he doesn't turn the ball over in this game. It's going to be tough for them to win. They'll be playing with the lead in this game, which, like I said, that just bleeds back into them taking care of the football and being able to run the ball well. That's why I think Seattle is going to have to be aggressive in this one. They cannot sit back. They basically have to go for broke.
Just do it!
I don't think it's going to be enough. I've got St. Louis taking this one 30-20. Moving on to Sunday's games. Game number 3. I've got the Houston Roughnecks at 3-0 taking on the Dallas Renegades at 2-1. Sunday, March 1st, 3 p.m. Central. Fox Sports 1 has the coverage on this one. This, guys, I'm circling this one with a big red Sharpie. This is the game of the week. A lot on the line here. A 3-0 team taking on a 2-1 team. So the only undefeated team left playing in this one. You've got 2 Texas teams. State is on the line in this one. The West is on the line in this one. This is for first. I'm dubbing this one the Texas Bowl.
Everybody just calm down.
How will Houston's defense hold up against the Dallas run? So haven't been really impressed with Houston's defense. Their offense has, won them pretty much every game, outscoring their opponent pretty handedly. However, you look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay put up a lot of points, and it was a very close game. Defense is going to have to find a way to stop the run. Can P.J. Walker continue his MVP run in this one? When is that one slump game going to happen? This is probably the biggest game so far of the season, and I'm just curious, how's he going to perform under that pressure? Will Dallas run the ball early? Dallas comes out trying to sling the rock all over the yard for like the first 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter they figure out, oh, we have 2 stud running backs that can run the ball. And they just pummel guys. They pummel people. So I hope that in this one, they start out in the 1st quarter being balanced. Run the ball. Don't put too much on Landry. Let him get settled in the game. Get comfortable. I'm curious to see how many points this air raid offense can score. But I think it all starts and is spearheaded by that run game. You got to hand the ball off early in the game. You can't just sit there and have 25 passes in the first 2 quarters. You have got to run the ball. Got to run the ball. I look for Donald Parham to be key in this one again, guys. Huge target, 6'8". Obviously, he's got some chemistry there with Landry. Had a big day last week. I wonder how Houston's defense is going to handle him. I'm going to go ahead and call the final on this one and how it's going to go down. I believe that McGinnis' leg is going to get it done. He's going to kick the game-winning field goal.
And it is good!
Dallas wins it 30-28, and they move into first place in the West. Upset alert. right here. Moving on to game 4. We have the 2-1 DC Defenders taking on the 0-3 Tampa Bay Vipers. Again, game Sunday, March 1st, 6 p.m. Central. This one's on ESPN2, which I believe this is the first game that will be on ESPN2. So ESPN2's first coverage of the XFL. DC needs to regroup in a big bad way. You know, they got sucker punched. So I'm curious, are they going to come out shell-shocked? You know, they were on the road at LA. They stay on the road. They don't get to come back home yet. How are they going to respond? This will be a big measuring stick for this team. How will Cardale Jones respond? He had by far his worst game in the XFL, threw 4 picks, no touchdowns. So I'm curious if he's going to come out gun shy or if he's still going to try push that offense and sling it around. Can the defense apply pressure and create turnovers? You know, I said this before. DC's defense was averaging 3 turnovers a game coming into last week. They didn't get a single thing last week, and it cost them. I believe if the defense is not causing turnovers, whether it be pick sixes or even giving them a short field, I think Cardale will struggle to drive the field. It could get ugly for them. Tampa Bay is leaning towards the corn dog.
Corn dog time.
Cornelius. Murray's back. However, it's worth noting at the time of this, Quentin Flowers is on a leave of absence from the team, so he has left the team. I believe part of that has to do with Tressman's poor management of the quarterbacks. You know, he basically throws Flowers in for a second and then yanks him back out. Never really had a chance. I don't think Tressman knows what to do with the mobile quarterback. Red zone efficiency will be key. I've said in the past, Tampa Bay, they put up a ton of yards every game. They move the ball, but when they get in the red zone, they're terrible. They're the worst in the XFL in the red zone. Cannot seem to punch it in, and that's really cost them. That's why they're sitting at 0-3. Tampa Bay knows what's at stake here. If they go 0-4, I think that they pretty well have sealed their playoff fate. It's now or never. You're in front of your home crowd. You announce Cornelius as the starter. You know what's at stake here. The playoffs are on the line. I'm calling the upset. I think DC drops 2 in a row. I've got Tampa Bay pulling this one out, getting their first win, 24-17. I've got 2 make or break upsets here. I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. Stay tuned for my next video. Guys, if you haven't already, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on, like the video, and jump down in that comment section. You know, every week, I want to hear from you. Who do you have in week 4? I want to hear from you. Jump down below. That's all I got for you guys. I appreciate it. I'm out.